don't try to forecast the future. Anyone who is doing that and was relying on appreciation for their deal to be successful is in a heap of trouble right now.
Right, that's right. Hey, it's Kevin Amolsch, Pine Financial Group, where we work together so you succeed. Hey, you found us here on YouTube. Please hit subscribe. We're trying to build a community, a channel to help more real estate investors just like you. Today, we have a fantastic guest, Scott Kraft. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited about today's video because we get questions all the time like, what are you seeing your clients do? What are you seeing other investors that are successful do in this changing market?
Right, and it is changing. So, we're seeing our successful clients, other flippers, just doing things a little differently than they have over the last few years. I'd say the biggest thing that I'm seeing is people are kind of taking a step back, right? For the last few years, it's just been, let me get this deal, let me get that deal. Just the more deals you can get, the better, right?
Yeah.
Now what we're seeing is the successful ones they're just taking a step back a little. They're maybe moving a little slower, waiting until their existing flips are selling before going out and getting that new one, because the market's changing, right? The last thing you want to do is get in over your head with too many deals at once.
Yeah, one of our top mistakes that we teach in the hard money lending class is just getting, too greedy almost, or getting in over your head. That really is one of the top mistakes we see investors make, and unfortunately, we're seeing a little bit of that right now from a year or so ago. So yeah, taking a step back, I'm seeing that too.
Yeah.
What else are you seeing?
Yeah, kind of in the same line as that. Just maybe doing fewer deals as well, making sure that we're just doing quality deals. We all know we make money on the way in, right? It's what you're buying the property for,
Right,
when you really make your money. So what we're seeing our successful clients doing is really not buying mediocre deals right now. Those were maybe saved in the past by the crazy appreciation that we've had over the last few years.
Yeah.
There's always cost overruns. It almost always takes longer than you anticipate. And that eats into your bottom line. But when it's appreciating at a crazy rate,
20%
right,
a year.
historical rate, that saves you. It almost makes it better for you if it takes you longer.
We joke about that sometimes. Right. The slower you were with your rehab, the more money you made. Those times are over.
Right.
What else?
So we're also seeing our clients are budgeting longer hold times. Okay, so that means more money spent on insurance, on taxes, and more than anything on interest. Yeah. Because houses are not just selling overnight. We remember when it used to be house hits the market on Thursday. By Sunday evening, there's 10 offers all over asking price, waiving contingencies or very limited contingencies. That's just not the case anymore. Yeah. So now you have to budget in more time for it to sell. So that's one of the things. And then by the same token, also maybe budgeting in some concessions. You might not even know what concessions are after working in this business for the last few years. But a lot of times we're seeing, especially with the increased rates, sellers are having to give concessions for rate buy downs for buyers.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to call a concession a bribe. It's a legal bribe to buy the house. Right?
Exactly. And we're seeing around 3% is really common right now.
Yeah. Okay, so we're slowing down. We're maybe taking on fewer projects so that we can stick to really high quality. We're budgeting more time, maybe more in concessions, but we're still fixing and flipping. Yep. So what is there anything else that you're seeing?
Yeah. So one of the things that people are being smart looking at more recent comps. You don't want to be looking at comps from a year ago.
Yeah, that's
right.
Smart.
Typically, general rule of thumb is you can look at comps within the last year. But we're in such a changing market right now that we want to look at comps that are much more recent, maybe within the last 3 months if you have enough. If you can go to 2, that would be even better.
And you recently sat on a expert panel at one of our events, and in the crowd there was an appraiser in there, and he said something that we just haven't seen much of. You're starting to see more market shift adjustments, which basically means if you're using a comp from 6 months ago, you got to adjust the value of that comp up or down because of market movement. You didn't see that a lot when the market was going crazy high, but now you say now that it's coming down or could be coming down a little bit, you're starting to see that.
Absolutely. And something else that we're seeing people not do, and this is something that I hate ever seeing investors do in the first place. A lot of times they budget in appreciation.
Oh my God, you
You
didn't
know,
just say that.
they say, well, it's worth so much today, but look at what appreciation is. It's going to be worth so much more in 6 months. First of all, we do not ever recommend that. We want to look at actual solds, actual comps, what it is right now as I'm getting into it. Don't try to forecast the future. Anyone who is doing that and was relying on appreciation for their deal to be successful is in a heap of trouble right now.
Right, that's right. So it's great advice. Is there anything else?
Yeah, another thing is you want to make sure that when you are done with the rehab and you're ready to sell it, make sure you're pricing it realistically. You don't want to get greedy. The last thing you want to have when you're going to sell your property is a high-priced listing that just sits there stale. It gets stale, there's no interest in it. That's never good for a listing.
And I don't think we're going to see a cliff here, or I don't think there's going to be a big shift in values necessarily, but I was in the business in 2008, 9, 10 when we were seeing that. And what I would see, Scott, is someone priced their property maybe close to the value, but the value is dropping so fast and they just started chasing that down. They were lowering their price, but they couldn't catch up to the loss in value. Right. So you would really need to do a big jump, which is scary. The best way is to price it correctly out of the gate.
Exactly, right. Because you do not want to be behind the falling values.
You do not want to chase
you have
that
to
down.
drop it. You want to be ahead of that, which means going below what the comps are saying.
That's absolutely,
Right.
Absolutely 100% agree. Good advice so far. Is there anything else?
The last thing I would say is they're just not buying mediocre deals. You can still be successful in this business. We're still closing really high quality loans for really high quality flips for our clients, but they're just not doing mediocre deals right now because the market's not going to save you.
So that's budgeting in the concessions. And, I'm starting to see people budget in a lower ARV and after repaired value. So let's say it's worth $100,000. They might say, well, I'm going to take 2% off of that or 3% off. And I'm going to run my numbers at a $97,000 value instead, something like that.
Sure.
So very similar to what you're saying with the concessions and longer hold times. Just pad those numbers a little bit. Just be very careful. The thing about a fix and flip, Scott, you know this very well. You're buying and selling in similar market, right? Unless you're taking a long time, as you described earlier. Don't be afraid of it. You could still fix and flip. Just be smart about it. Use us. Let us help you. Look at the numbers and give you some advice.
Absolutely. If you want us to look at any deal for you, kind of run numbers, help walk you through if it's a good deal in this market or not, just give us a call. We're more than happy to talk with you.
Yeah, reach out to us. You can find us at pinefinancialgroup.com.